America, howdy. Man, it's been a little minute. So good to see you guys. Hope y'all had a wonderful Independence Day with your families. Ho, 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 Merry Independence Day, or whatever it is that Biden's out there confusing with Christmas. Also in Washington Square Park, we got people burning the U.S. flag in support of the Palestinian flag. So around the globe, we got France and the UK. The left somehow has won both of their elections. So if you thought this was going to be an easy fight, buckle up. It is time to let the rest of the world know that America is Trump country. And if they're going to tread on our rights, they better watch their step. So glad to be with you guys again. A lot to talk about this week. We just had some crazy internal Democrat polling coming out that has the entire left in an uproar trying to overthrow, the person that won't leave power, Joe Biden. Have you ever seen it? I mean, even when they don't intend it, I say on this show all the time, whatever they accuse the conservatives, the right, the MAGA movement of doing is exactly what they are doing and what their plan is. And now we see what have they said for a year? Trump's going to be a dictator. If Trump gets back in office, he won't leave power. And now you have Joe Biden's entire political party wanting him to step down, and he's refusing to leave power. You can't make the stuff up, man.
Bruh.
You can't make it up. So, yeah, whatever they accuse you of doing is what they are matter-of-factly doing, even if they don't even know it yet. So they're talking about Kamala Harris might be the next man up, so to speak, to take the mantle, to take the torch and run with it for the sake of the globalist, communist, leftist Democrats. That's all you can call them, Democrats. You can call them anything you want, but it all falls under one umbrella, and that's Democrats. So who is going to be the Dem nominee? Is it going to be Kamala Harris? We'll find out. There's been some delays in the Trump cases as well. And then we have Fauci backing Biden. We'll get into that some more. And while you haven't seen me for a little longer than normal because YouTube censored me, man, and took the whole last episode down, and we're going to wrap that up at the end, but I'm not going to make myself out to be a martyr. Shout out to the chat out there. It's so good to see y'all in the chat. It's been a minute. Glad to be back. Don't forget out there to like and subscribe as well, you guys. Don't forget to hit the bell, hit the like, hit the sub. That way you're notified anytime we happen to go live, all right? So, right up, did y'all watch that Stephanopoulos interview with Joe Biden? I'd never seen such. I thought it was Trump being interviewed. He got the Trump treatment. There wasn't one question on policy. There wasn't one question about agenda. There wasn't one question about anything positive that could actually be gleaned from Joe Biden, his administration, his perspectives going forward. It is an entire hit piece. It was, are you going to step down? Why not? Have you taken a cognitive test? Why not? Will you? Are you sure? So you're saying you won't. I mean, repeated question, this refusing to take the answer Biden gave him. It's like Stephanopoulos is in on the hashtag Never Biden crowd. We have these Never Trumpers all this time in the Republican Party. We got some Never Biden people and the Democrats. I don't think so, because no matter what, Democrats want to win, and they will vote for Joe Biden, even if there's enough Republicans out there that aren't smart enough to do the same, to stop this globalist cabal that has infiltrated our country, usurped our government and the will of the people last 2020. So we all know about that, but we're going to pull up some clips from this interview with Stephanopoulos. It was really hard to watch, not only because Biden is struggling. He did better than he did on the debate, because how much worse can you get after that debate? So we'll see. Let's just go ahead and take a look here about how some of this went down. This is from Jeff Carlson on Twitter. Here's a clip he posted.
Did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Well, what I'm trying,
First
what I
of
want to
all, bullshit. Bullshit. He talking about he don't think he did? He doesn't think he did? Look, after the most embarrassing moment for a president/presidential candidate in the history of America, I mean, it puts the John Edwards to shame, man. And he doesn't even know whether he watched it or not. Now, maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he's that far gone that that's actually the truth. He doesn't remember last week. But any normal person knows that's a bullshit lie, and that he knows matter-of-factly if he watched that debate. Let's start this over.
Did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Well, what I want to get at is, what were you experiencing as you were going through the debate? Did you know how badly it was going?
Yeah, look. The whole way I prepared, nobody's fault, mine. Nobody's fault but mine. I prepared what I usually would do, sitting down, as I did come back with foreign leaders or the National Security Council, for explicit detail. And I realized about partway through that, you know, I get quoted, the New York Times had me down at 10 points before the debate, 9 now, or whatever the hell it is. The fact of the matter is that what I looked at is that he also lied 28 times. I mean, the way the debate ran, not my fault, no one else's fault. No one else's fault.
But it seemed like you were having trouble from the first question in, even before he spoke.
Well, I just had a bad night.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it, man, if that's what you want to call it, I'll go with that. I'll agree that was a very bad night. A bad night for you, a bad night for your crooked-ass family, a bad night for your crooked-ass party, a bad night for George Soros, the World Economic Forum, the globalists, the world, the IMF, the WHO, Putin, President Xi, China. Everybody, Iran, Palestine, everybody on the left that's anti-American, anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-heterosexual, anti-freedom, and anti-this country. They had a really bad night on that debate stage last week. Really bad night. I agree, Joe Biden. But and you want to know what else? This is something I haven't heard anybody in any podcast, publication, Twitter. I haven't seen anybody say this or even address this. Do you think that Joe Biden just tried to raw dog that debate last week? He just tried to go cold turkey without his stimulants, his medicine, his injections, whatever they give him before he does a performance, before he does a State of the Union performance, before he does a debate like he did in 2020. Do you think he just actively chose to forego all that and just be his senile self on stage in front of American people? That does not seem likely to me. The stakes are too high. You don't just practice all week and then not take your meds before you go on national TV against the guy trying to take your job. You just don't do it. So what does that mean? And why was he so surprised after the debate and says he don't know what happened, blaming it on a cold and all this other crap? But why do you think he wasn't feeling himself? Why do you think he was confused? And why do you think it did not go the way he thought? My only explanation is he was given something and it was a placebo. So if the president of the United States is supposed to be getting his hype up, cocaine, methamphetamine, whatever you want to call it, drugs, the reason he wouldn't take a drug test in the first place, he should have taken a drug test. That's the other thing. If he was going to raw dog it, cold turkey this debate, why wouldn't he agree to the drug test? So he was intending to take his stimulant. He was intending to be juiced up for this debate. So you know that he got something so that he thought everything was status quo, protocol was met, and here I go on the debate stage. And it did not happen. Did the drugs just not work? No, I think this is bigger. I think the same people that would steal an election in 2020 would also overthrow their own presidential nominee, their own president, their own top of the ticket. I think they would overthrow him himself. I think that was a setup. I think, as many people have speculated, that the timing of this debate was no coincidence, that there is now time, maybe, to try to replace him. That was their Hail Mary pass to try to replace Joe Biden. And the Stephanopoulos interview that I'm showing you clips of seems to back that up, because it was knives out for Joe Biden, Stephanopoulos. No, it was no attempt to try to cover for him, try to give him a bounce back showing, try to give him a new light for the people to see him in, so that looked like a one-off. No, it was knives out. So if there's actual people behind the scenes, doctors, presumably medical personnel, that are giving him placebo injections or placebo pills or whatever he thinks he's taking that normally has an extra pep in his step when he makes a public performance and appearance, that actually gave him a placebo and he didn't even know it. Whoo! The question of who's running this country is one that's been on everybody's mind, at least since the debate. But most conservatives, Republicans, Trump fans, MAGA, has been seeing Biden since the 2020 campaign, have been knowing this guy ain't all there. And it's gotten way worse since his time in office. Who is running this country and who's making decisions about getting Biden placebos, if that's what actually happened? But it checks out in my mind. All the boxes are checked. I can't get another explanation. It was the dumbest calculation in history for him to go out there raw dogging it, cold turkey. And also to not then say, I would take a drug test. None of it adds up. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Something to think about. Something to think about. Let's go to this other clip here from Vince Langman. Oh my gosh, the George Stephanopoulos interview was supposed to be a show that Biden just had a bad night, like I was just saying. Instead, it's making it worse. Listen to this bumbling, stumbling, dementia-ridden nursing home patient.
Do you really believe you're not behind right now?
I think all the pollsters I talk to tell me it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. And when I'm behind, there's only one poll I'm really far behind, CBS poll and NBC, and
New York Times and NBC both have you about 6 points behind in the popular vote.
That's exactly right. New York Times had me behind before anything happened to do with this race. Had me behind 10 points. 10 points had me behind. Nothing's changed substantially in the debate, the New York Times poll.
Ooh, all right. So he says nothing's changed since the debate. Stephanopoulos is putting it to him. You know you're losing your ass. You're losing every swing state. You're losing the popular vote. You're a disaster. The American public thinks you're a disaster. They think these policies are a disaster. And as much as we've tried to convince them that Trump is Hitler, Trump is a fascist, Trump is a dictator, Trump is a racist, Trump is a phobe, whatever kind of fill-in-the-blank phobe, Trump hates the climate, Trump hates you, Trump hates everything not white, Trump hates the rest of the world. He's going to get us all in wars. Whatever they've tried to convince him of ain't working, Mr. Biden. Have you taken note? Hello. Weekend at Bernie's? Hello. One other clip.
Neurological. Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test.
This is his new strategy here.
You know, not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world. Madeleine Albright was right. And every single day, for example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with the Prime Minister of, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail.
Who?
With Netanyahu. I'm on the phone with the new Prime Minister of England. I'm working on what we're doing with regard to, in Europe, with regard to expansion of NATO and whether it's going to stick. I'm taking on Putin. I mean, every day, there's no day I go through, there are not those decisions I have to make every single day.
And you have been doing that, and the American people have been watching, yet their concerns about your age and your health are growing. So that's why I'm asking, to reassure them, would you be willing to have the independent medical evaluation?
Not let him off the hook.
There's a lot of time left in this campaign.
So no is the answer.
It's over 125 days.
Obviously.
So the
Make a decision.
The right answer right now is no, you don't want to do that right
No,
now.
I've already done
I mean, he hasn't had a cognitive test. We all know that. We all know how that would go. It's been leaked now that there's been a Parkinson's disease expert being seen around the White House. But this should remind everybody. And real quick, I just thought it was interesting that Stephanopoulos didn't ask him to a follow-up question on his statement that women everywhere are getting raped by their in-laws and their brothers and sisters. Y'all, I don't know what kind of family y'all got. I never heard of such. Now, in Joe Biden's family showering with his daughter and all that kind of weird-ass crackhead behavior and all that stuff that his son does, that might be a little bit more normal. But he wasn't followed up on that question at all. Shout out to the chat out there. I see you, Kyle. Lie and deflect. That's all that they can do. It's true, man. And it's not just lie. It's fear-mongering. And the types of things they say, it's kind of like the lowest denominator voter that still even buys what they say. Because the real world that we live in is plenty of evidence to the contrary of everything that they say. Even when Trump on stage says he's not for a national abortion ban, then the next day they get up and say, Kamala posts on her Twitter, Trump's going to ban abortion nationwide. Well, then even Twitter had to fact check him. Elon Musk called Kamala Harris out too. So it might be easy to lie on some of these social media websites, but the users have fact checked you in your community notes saying that that is a total lie. And Trump has said very much the opposite of that. So quite an interview with Stephanopoulos, and all this is coming on the heels of that debate. And before we get into that, one more time, I want you to remember everybody. Now, I know this audience is sharper than that, but maybe there's somebody hate watching, or maybe there's somebody you can show this clip to. Everybody in the media lied to your effing face. They lied to you in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and they're still lying to you up until that very debate when the lie was exposed and they couldn't cover for him anymore. Not only cover for him, cover for the entire Democrat apparatus, entire deep state that's actually running this country, running a smoke screen, telling you that Biden was normal, telling you he was sharper than ever, from the press secretary, the vice president, every talking head you saw on cable news, every politician that you saw on the TV or on podcasts, saying he's as sharp as he's ever been, lying to your effing face. And now they got exposed. Now you have to start wondering, well, what else was I lied to about? How about January 6th? Was I lied to about that? How far back do the lies go in order to promote their agenda and move it forward down the field? And how stupid do they think I am? How much disdain and how much of a lack of respect do they have for me as an American public to not only lie to my face every day, show after show, for year after year? How stupid do they think you are? What kind of lack of respect do they think they have for you? Not only that, it shows you that it doesn't matter. They will step on you, step over you, whatever it takes to tear this country down, because they hate this country. They hate you, the American citizen. That's why they're replacing you with non-citizens. Story came out today. Over 10% of people polled, illegal immigrants in North Carolina, said that they are registered to vote. And that's just the ones that admitted it. It's everywhere. Don't forget how they lied to your face, and that should make you question everything you've heard from these people ever. But especially in recent history. And especially when they tell you what Trump's going to do. Why are they going to lie to protect Biden, but then tell the truth on Trump? That don't jive. That doesn't go together. It's make you question everything you hear from the media. Now, to that end, here is 10 Biden allies who promised us he was fine a week ago. Or weeks ago, excuse me. This is from the Daily Wire. Nancy Pelosi, there she is tweeting. Many of us spent time with Wall Street Journal share on the record our firsthand experiences with POTUS, where we see his wisdom, experience, strength, and strategic thinking. Instead, the Journal ignored testimony by Democrats, focused on attacks by Republicans, and printed a hit piece. Who else? Chuck Schumer. I've been speaking to him for 30 years and we worked on the Brady bill, the assault weapons ban when I was a young congressman. Schumer said he's fine. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong. Okay. Biden campaign co-chair Mitch Landrieu. Americans don't agree with what you're saying. 76% of voters are concerned. Excuse me for clicking a link. Biden campaign co-chair Mitch Landrieu says questions around Biden's mental fitness are, quote, a bucket of BS that's so deep your boots will get stuck. Okay, all right. They are still, this is them lying to your effing face. You, their constituents, you that they work for their gain. No respect for you, disdain for you. We'll keep going. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, quote, I've spent a lot of time with the president, and he's great, Walz said on NBC. We're talking, we're chatting and all this, and I think, we all get a little older. That's what happens. But also, you gain that insight, I think, when it comes to these issues, working across the aisle to get things done. You see the president just doing this with dignity, doing it with class, getting up every day, doing the work. So I think he's doing what he does. The amount of lies and gaslighting everywhere. Come on, Senator Alex Padilla. We'll keep going. Montana Senator John Tester. I hope they get his ass out of there. Montana, I'm looking at you. This is one of the most important Senate races in the country. This red state needs to get this blue Biden-supporting Democrat out of there who also lied to all of your faces, state of Montana. Again in February, Senator John Tester said Biden has been absolutely 100% with it. His recall, his cognitive ability, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a doctor. I'm a dirt farmer. He's fine, and he's doing a good job. I think folks are making a bigger deal out of it than it is. There's your senator, Montana. I was just in Montana last week. Beautiful area of the country. Had a wonderful time camping, hiking, fishing with my family. Just one of my favorite absolute sections of the country. Wish I was still there right now. And this is your senator, Montana. This is your Democrat senator that's voting to flood all of your country, voting with the Democrats to weak border, high taxes, high crime. It's time to get him out. It's time for Montana to stand out. He is a great candidate, former Navy SEAL. I digress. Congressman Dan Goldman, J.B. Pritzker, Chris Coons, all these people lied to your face, and as did the people on that TV screen right there. Everybody. So you need to understand January 6th, the insurrection, how much of that was made up to further their agenda, as well as so many other things. Now you got Nancy Pelosi coming out saying they think Trump might have cognitive decline, cognitive issues. Man, they missed a chance to accuse somebody of what they were doing, so they're doing it on the back end now that it's all out in the weeds, all out in the open. They're going to accuse Trump of having cognitive abilities. Yeah? Okay. All right. So, don't forget they lied to you. Do they lie to you about elections being secure and no fraud happening? What else did they lie to you about? Keep that in mind. But this is Democrat internal polling, and this is why all the knives are out. This is why everybody that's been lying and covering for Joe Biden all this time now is in a panic and trying to replace him and getting him to step down. Here is recent Democrat polling. This is from MAGA Elvis. Oh my God, this is a bloodbath. Leaked Democrat internal polling from Open Labs. Here we go. So if you're to see what you're looking at, post-debate margin is that second column there, the first one with colors on it. And in every state listed, he went down. He went down 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, point and a half, a point, 2.3 points, 2 points, 2 points, point and a half, 2 points, almost across the board, every state. Every state. The margin drop, there it is on the right side. I was doing it in my head. There it is right there on the right side. He's now down 10% in Georgia, 10% in North Carolina. The only states he's up in is somehow Colorado, Minnesota, Maine are the only states in this entire list that have Biden still up. And what the hell is going on, people in that state? Are you in Colorado, Maine, Wisconsin? Or not Wisconsin, Minnesota? What the hell are y'all doing? Is it all the Somalians in Minnesota voting that's turning this poll up? Is this Ilhan Omar's woke-ass constituents? What is this shit? How are you in Colorado? How are you a red-blooded American? You're okay with this person talking to Putin, talking to Xi, trying to negotiate peace, not start wars? He's already doing a terrible job with Russia and Ukraine. Trump said on the debate stage he would have it ended before he even took office. So this is how bad the polling is. Now, once you get to New Mexico, Trump's up. Virginia, Trump's up. New Hampshire, Trump's up. Wisconsin, Nebraska, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. Every one of those states, Trump is way up. It has these folks freaking out. Here's the actual map from In Wokeness. Holy shit. According to leaked polling numbers from Democratic firm Open Labs, this map falls within the margin of error. Again, this is their own polling data. It shows a 358 electoral college vote landslide currently. It has Biden winning 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 states total. 14. Has him winning 14 of 50 states. Electoral college landslide. And these people are freaking out. They're in full panic mode. The hair is on fire. They're running around. And it's the same question we've been asking the whole time. Who is actually running this country? All Americans see that now. I'm going to let Vivek Ramaswamy say it in his own words real quick, and then I'm going to touch on that some more. Here we go.
The reality is they deserve to be honest with the American people now. Who is actually running the country? Who is in charge of the United States of America? After last night's debate, I don't think there's a single person at home who saw that who believes it's Joe Biden, because it's not. But we deserve a government that tells us the truth. And I think one of the concerning questions for right now, not even the election, I'm talking about today, the next few months leading up to the election, is who is actually leading the United States of America? The Democrats and the White House have not offered a clear answer to that question. And if they tell us that's Joe Biden, we now know that is a lie. And Americans, I think, demand the truth because our security determines and depends on it. The reality is they deserve to be honest.
True. So who is running it? Everybody can see that now. You have to be so anti-Trump, such a partisan, that you hate your own freaking country in order to vote for this guy and have this person with their button on the nuclear codes. This guy has the trigger to World War III. This is what we're going with. Okay. All right. So that's where we're at right now. Now, after that, they are now trying to say that maybe Kamala Harris, however you want to say it, Kamala Harris should be stepping up to take the mantle and that she can beat Trump, right? You know who that is. That's just, America's first DEI president, Kamala Harris. There was a raging debate in corporate America on the future of DEI, aka diversity, equity, and inclusion, because it is literally destroying the businesses that go there. And yet the American public may soon be subjected to DEI writ large, and the next president of the United States, if Kamala Harris finds her way to the top of the Democratic ticket while Joe Biden wilts away as the party's presidential nominee after his horrific debate performance. Yes, maybe the most irrepressibly fatuous politician in America may become the leader of the free world because the Democratic Party is unable to break its DEI stranglehold. And that's right. That's exactly right. And it's so right that Gavin Newsom is up in arms about it. Says, 1, Joe Biden is our next president. 2, this is straight up racist, talking about the headline from the New York Post. Once again, though, The crowd is right there. The redheaded libertarian, I agree. It's very racist to select a leader based on skin color rather than merit. And there's the old headline from July 21, 2020. Joe Biden says he is considering 4 black women to be his running mate. So it's entirely a DEI hire on color of skin and on what's between your legs. That's the things that matter the most to Democrats nowadays. So that's exactly why she was selected. And then ALX has 4 different headlines citing the same thing, that it was a litmus test entirely based on how she looked and that it was a she. Now, if he had to do it over, he might pick that health secretary, trans man, or whatever that thing is, to be his vice president, because that's a little more DEI, a little more woke, I think, than Kamala Harris, who slept her way up. Montel Williams' side piece, slept her way up to prominence in the Democrat Party. Because that's how you do it in the Democrat Party, I guess. Your substance don't matter. Your merit doesn't matter. Your achievements don't matter. Your qualifications don't matter. Is, do you look like somebody that I can call a victim? Let me rephrase that. Do you look like somebody who I routinely call a victim, i.e. black? I call every black or brown person in this country a victim. Do you look that way? And do you look like, are you a woman? Because I will also call every woman in this country a victim. So can I show that I am, what's the woke Olympics? I want to have the most oppressed type person on the surface, nothing else mattering. No matter, it was the worst Democrat candidate in 2020. She was bowed out before Iowa even happened. Nobody wanted a piece of her ass. Nobody wanted to touch her. Nobody wanted to hear her, listen to her, look at her, have her anywhere around the presidential debate stage. And yet, that checks the boxes. Minority, person of color, woman. The correct genitalia between your legs. That's what matters. So that's what they got. And they're upset that we're calling it out. They're upset that it gets called out. So, but apparently this is real. Apparently they have some polling that says recently, just now, that Kamala Harris might do better against Trump than Joe Biden. And then this story comes out from Yahoo. Kamala in the Telegraph. Kamala Harris team considers white man VP for presidential run. It's the same damn shit all over again, man. Why is that? Why? And this is what pisses me off. This is why everybody that lied to your face in the media, telling you that Joe Biden was totally normal, nothing wrong with him. This is one of their main weapons that I hope gets pierced and destroyed and seen through by the lies that they've been pulling over the American people's eyes. The figurative wool is that conservatives are racist. Conservatives are bigots. Conservatives care about actually what Martin Luther King said, the content of character. I don't give a damn what you look like. I don't give a damn what's between your legs. I don't give a damn who you sleep with. All I care about is, are you a good person? What's in your heart? And then, are you qualified? Do you have merit? Do you succeed on your own accord? Do you bring something to the table? That's it. That's it. But when you see these Democrats picking their presidential candidate, first thing, I don't care who it is, they got to be black and a woman. Now the black woman might be president. I don't care what it is, got to be a white man. I don't care who it is. I don't care what they've done to get here. I don't care what they can do with their experiences. We got to first start with what they look like and what's between their legs. And then we're the people, we're the bigoted party, right? We're the ones that only see color and skin color and all that. It's their entire platform. And it's all about division, hate, and putting us against our fellow man and our own countrymen. We should be united against this globalism, this communism, this socialism, and this usurpation of this country and your vote through illegal immigrants, mail-in ballot, and voter fraud. That's what we should be united about. And if they can't keep us at each other's throats, we might actually figure that out. So that's their job. They got to keep us against each other and fighting tooth and nail about shit that don't matter, about all this gaslighting, about this fear mongering. If you just look at the president's post, actually, you know he's not tweeting. There was 20-something tweets made during the debate. They got a bunch of kids, 20-something-year-olds, and they're tweeting for the president of the United States. And then Kamala Harris, just look at the things they say. It sounds like the most asinine, scary ass shit that only the smooth brain, lowbrow bug eaters could actually even believe this crap and eat it up and say, yes, Trump's gonna be Hitler. Trump is Hitler. We only had it for 4 years and nothing bad happened except the country was succeeding really well. But he's never gonna leave office. But he did leave office last time. It's just, it defies logic, defies reality. And just in case you don't forget, this is what the globalist puppet let it slip right here.
Because think also about the impact on not only the local economy, not only on an investment in the entrepreneurs and innovators from and in the community, think about the impact on something like public health. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air.
There it is. I've said it so many times. That covers so much. She is just as part of the globalist cabal, George Soros, World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, IMF, everything. All this stuff trying to overthrow the country and start the Great Reset. She's part of it. And they use climate change as the biggest Trojan horse to get half this shit done. And she just said it. When in the name of climate change, we can reduce population, our children can breathe free there and all that. So they're actually telling you they want to reduce population. Why do you think this trans stuff is so important to them? They're taking a whole generation of kids, chopping their body parts off, chemically castrating them, ruining their ovaries. They might never have periods, may never have orgasms. They'll never reproduce. The American population is in decline, and the future generation, they're pouring gasoline on the fire. That's how evil and sick and twisted these people are. The same that they lied to you about Biden being healthy, they're lying to you about the damn climate. They've been lying to you since the 80s when it was acid rain, lying to you. Go watch Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. It's almost a comedy of the things he said was going to happen by now. Meanwhile, Obama and all the rich Democrats and everybody that actually has money and will never be affected by the actual economy or actually have to live a regular life like a normal American are buying waterfront properties on all the beaches they said are supposed to be flooded by now. They're spending their tens of millions of dollars on all these properties that's supposed to not be around. Yeah. Don't forget how evil, sick, and twisted these people are. But bring her on. We'll take her cackling ass down real fast. But they're going to cheat. Don't forget, they're going to cheat. That's true. So who, if not Kamala Harris, who is the Democrat nominee going to be? Well, let me go ahead and throw this out there from Charlie Kirk real quick. Oh, how'd this get looking like that? Hold on. Here we go. Charlie Kirk. Let me get you in there, Charlie. Oh, Lord, I'm messing everything up. There we go. All right, Charlie Kirk. This is big. It's likely already too late to remove Joe Biden from the ballot. In Wisconsin, it's already too late to remove Joe Biden from the ballot. Nevada, after tonight, the fourth Friday in June, it will be too late to remove Joe Biden. Georgia, only a few weeks remain before it will be too late to remove Biden from the ballot. From the Daily Mail, the Heritage Oversight Project has set their sights on 3 contentious swing states where they believe taking Biden off the Democratic ticket would not allow anyone else to replace him: Georgia, Nevada, and Wisconsin. Wisconsin does not allow withdrawal from the ballot for any reason besides death. In Nevada, no changes can be made to the ballot after 5 p.m. on the fourth Friday of June of an election year, or a nominee dies or is adjudicated insane or mentally incompetent. Well, Nevada might have a little hope. If Biden were to withdraw less than 60 days before the election, Georgia, his name will remain on the ballot, but no votes will be counted. In Texas, the two parties, the nominees, have until the 74th day before the election to withdraw from the ballot. Some states, like South Carolina, do not allow candidates to withdraw for political reasons. So there you have it. This is not just some cut and dry, easy bait and switch. Have some super delegates at the convention say, sorry, Joe, you got to go. There's actual legal hurdles to some of this and getting his name on the ballot. Now, some of these are run by Democrats. I'm sure their Supreme Court will come out and find a way, to have Joe Biden back on the ballot, or Kamala Harris, a Big Mike, whoever it is, going to be on the ballot, I presume, because what's the law ever mattered to Democrats? What do the rules matter to these guys? They don't matter at all. The ends justify the means with these folks. So that's some complicating circumstances right there for replacing Joe Biden on the ticket. But also, here's the betting odds. This is from Real Clear Polling with Betfair, Bovada, Polymarket, Predictor, and Smarkets. They think it's going to be Biden. The next they think Harris. Then they think Big Mike. Then they have Newsom, Whitmer, Clinton, Shapiro, Sanders, and Warren. Okay, I can tell you it's not going to be any of those last three. If I'm a betting man, and I am, I'd say, well, right now, because of this, it really might be too late to get Biden off. And he says he's not going anywhere. So there's going to have to be a real, actual potential coup from his own party to get him out of there, to oust him and replace him with a black woman. But clearly, everything I just showed you, it's going to be a black woman. It's going to be Kamala or Big Mike. The only other one I can see is Hillary Clinton. And because it was her turn, when she ran, nobody would even oppose her, basically. It was her turn. They might give her one more turn. That's about the only person I can see not being a black woman. She's a woman. She checks one box. But that's the only thing I can see that might be okay. They might swallow not having a black woman president candidate on the Democrat ticket. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be anybody else. Now, Charlie Kirk said he thinks it's going to be Jill Biden, because a lot of people say that's who's actually running the country. That's who's actually behind Joe Biden. No, it's been the Obamas the whole time. It's been the Obamas and the woke cabal. It's not just Obama. He's just, one of the main figureheads of it. Behind the scenes, he's the only president that left office and didn't go back home or move somewhere and leave D.C. He stayed in D.C., bought a big house. He's right there in the middle of it. So who do I think it's going to be? Kamala, probably. Then Joe Biden. I would say one of those two. Big Mike, I mean, he's living his life of luxury, with celebrities and yachts and everything else. And, I don't know if he wants to tuck it every day for 4 years to wear a suit. I don't know. Or a pantsuit. Excuse me. I don't know. So if you're asking your humble host, you're not so humble host. I think that it's going to be Kamala or Biden, maybe Michelle or Clinton. But I think after those four names, that's it. I don't think you can even realistically think anybody else could fill that role and satisfy the DEI super woke crowd that is the Democrat Party. Now, since then, a quick update on the Trump case. Since the Supreme Court came out and said the president has immunity, Trump filed with Judge Merchan against Fat Albert up there in Fat Alvin, up there in New York, and their case has been delayed. The sentencing that was supposed to happen in a mere few days has now been pushed back to September, I think. I don't know if that plays in our hands or not. That's a lot closer to the October surprise window. Yeah, if everything's going swimmingly for Trump, maybe that's the Hail Mary to throw him in jail or to give him probation or whatever it is, just to have something else they can hang around him. Biden called Trump a convicted felon twice on stage, and Trump just rolled his eyes like a gentleman and a grown man. But so that case is out. Fonnie Willis, she's probably going to get thrown out of the case. The Supreme Court down there in Georgia is hearing her situation over there. The judge in Florida has been on top of the corruption by Jack Smith and the tampering of evidence. That case is on hold. So the last thing it seems that might even happen is the sentencing, which has been pushed back now because of the Supreme Court Trump immunity ruling. And it might have to be thrown out, to tell you the truth. But why would the Democrats do that? They hold these cards. They're going to use them in the best way they see fit. And it's right around the October surprise window. So we'll see what happens there. But the show I was going to have to do here in the next few weeks about the sentencing will have to wait. Trump has gained some extra time on that. Now, this is a great story. It's a great story. Somebody else backing Joe Biden and his mental acuity and his fitness for office is the one and the only Dr. Tony Fauci, who we all love and respect. If he says it, well, gosh darn it, it must be true. Am I right? Am I right? Fauci says Biden is just fine. It's from being libertarian. I'm not a libertarian, but they get some things right sometimes. Thankfully, we can all trust the words of science. Let's listen to Fauci try to weasel his way into backing Joe Biden without looking like a total fool.
It just looked like a bad night because my interaction with him was what I describe in the book. And what happened even subsequent to what I described in the book after I got out, he's very probing in his questions, very analytical, very calm about things. When you go in to brief him, Major, you better really know your topic because he's going to ask you very relevant questions. And he's very reflective on things and just doesn't jump out with conclusions or anything, but is very analytic. So my interactions with him, I have to say, have been very, very positive.
Did you see the debate?
I did.
Did anything about that, what you saw, medically alarm you?
I can't say. I think it would be inappropriate to say that, Major, because when you're just looking at someone on a one-shot basis, you just don't know what could happen. Did he have a bad cold? Did he take an antihistamine to make him, groggy or what have you? We don't know what went on. And
all right, that's enough. The same guy that lied to you about masking and said they made it up, the same thing that lied to you about social distancing and said they made it up, and the circles, and it gave you one-way arrows down the grocery store aisles, all these people now says he can't tell if Joe Biden might have just had a cold. Meanwhile, if Joe Biden was sick, why the hell did he go out shaking everybody's hand at the Waffle House as soon as the debate was over? That's kind of irresponsible, right? Maybe he wasn't sick. Just my hunch. Just throwing it out there. So, yeah, Fauci backs Biden, which, if Fauci says it, it must be true, eh? Must be true. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the bell, hit the sub. Thank y'all for the support. Also, you can find us on X because it might be important to find us on X because our last episode you will not find on my YouTube page any longer. YouTube censored me. So I don't know what that was about. I don't know why. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know why. But Trump. Trump, a lot of Democrats were saying his biggest accomplishment was the vaccine, right? Now, nothing's been more controversial than these vaccines. I am not a doctor. I have opinions. That's what this show is. It's full of my opinions. And last I checked, you were still allowed to have an opinion in America. And all I did, last episode I did was bring up this article that is on the first result when you search it on Google. Who owns YouTube? Google owns YouTube on their own search engine, the biggest one in the world. This is the article that comes up. This is the description that comes up of that search. And this is the article that comes up. By the way, it's a snippet. Do you see this here? It is a snippet. That means it's a promoted article on Google. All I did was cite that very article, that very drug company that's been cited by tons of other accounts. I almost clipped and just did a montage of all these other huge accounts talking about this, talking about the vaccines and any dangers they may perceive. I'm not coming on here and saying they're dangerous, lest I get totally censored and taken down by YouTube, because I'm not big enough to fight back. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a guy here telling you how it is. I'm just a guy speaking my mind and trying to do my part to help save this great nation that I inherited from other people that preserved and handed it down to me. But all these big, huge, giant accounts can come out and say whatever they want. I can put clip after clip on here that I almost did accounts that I like. One of the reasons I didn't, because I didn't want them to think, if they ever got wind of it, that I was actually trying to turn them in for an offense against YouTube and what I can and cannot say about vaccines. By the way, YouTube, 2020 called and they want their social media censorship policy back. I thought we were past all this crap. I thought after the Hunter Biden laptop was so widespreadly, uniformly of a concerted effort squashed in election interference, I thought when the censorship of the social media platforms became election interference, I thought maybe they learned their lesson, eased up, and let people come speak their mind on here. But you can't find my last episode from the last episode of episode 17. You won't find it. You know what they decided to say? Here you go. You ready for this? You ready for this? Remember, once again, that's what you can Google to get the article that I was mentioning. You know what they said? This is the first thing I got. Your content was removed due to a violation of our community guidelines. Because it's the first time, this is just a warning. If it happens again, your channel will get a strike and you won't be able to do things like upload, post, or live stream for 1 week. So they gave me a warning, y'all. They gave me a warning. Because I dared to say something that they don't want me to say, I guess. They want me to have an opinion. And I wasn't even putting my opinion out there. I didn't sit there and say the vaccines are going to kill you. I never said that, and I don't say that. I know people in my family that have the vaccine. Then, following the rabbit hole from that, what's my options? Well, let's see what my options were. Review an issue. I can take a policy training. Take training. Your warning will expire in 90 days. I can take training or I can appeal the decision. Of course, I appealed it without anybody to talk to. I just had to say, yes, I want to appeal. And then they look at it again and say, oh, they don't like what you said. Warning. Taking your whole video down takes you a week to put together. Taking it down. Nobody can see it. Then after that, if I wanted to go forward with the training, this is how it goes. About the training. Medical misinformation training. While there are different types of medical misinformation, the one we'll focus on most in your training is vaccine misinformation. So we're going to re-educate me? Some kind of training camp, re-education camp? What is this country? What is this company that I tried to give a chance, a fair shake to? Everybody else going to Rumble. Everybody else going to everything else. I said, you know what? I'm going to give you two a fair shake. I think if I come on here and tell you the things are my opinion and sit here and speak from the heart, what's on my mind, I think they'll actually give me a shot to do that. Because 2020, I thought we all learned a lesson about censorship and election interference. But you can only find my last episode on X, where free speech still has its day. The truth still has its day. And the people can police themselves. Just like that post. Let me see if I can pull it up. This is great. Just like that post on, I won't have time to do it, that Kamala said about President Trump. The community notes, the community on X corrected her. It was attached to her post. And then even Elon Musk screenshotted that and said, look, you can't lie on X. You can't lie. You got free speech. But the truth will have its day on X. So you can always find me on X where I'll be posting these videos. I'm going to stay on YouTube as long as they have me. I love YouTube platform. I love the folks in the chat. But yes, they want to send me to medical misinformation re-education, or training is what they call it. Censorship. My whole episode's down. They could just take that one part down. Took my whole episode down. So that's why you haven't seen me in a couple weeks. I'm very glad to be back with y'all. I'm very glad to be back here. I'm very glad. I'll be on vacation again this week, but I'll be posting some videos. I've enjoyed the debate. I've enjoyed all the news that's been coming out lately. It's crazy times we live in. Look at France. Look at England. Don't think this thing's in the bag yet. The links they will go to, if they will put a puppet up there and the White House controlled by somebody else, when you don't even know who's running this country, the links they will go to, they will try to steal an election. They will try to cheat. They will try to trample on your rights. They will try to usurp the will of the American people. And my only message to them, watch your step. Thank y'all. God bless you. See you next time.
Oh my, I'm the silent majority, Big Mouth.